Hello, my name is Eric Rodriguez, and today I'm going to be talking about the case of Jack Daniel's Property versus VIP Products LLC. So, the significance of this case in relation to the legal environment of business is that it clarifies the limits of parity and First Amendment in business contexts. So, the court made it clear that businesses cannot use parity as a shield from liability when they use a trademark as a brand identifier for their own products. And what happened with this was that VIP Products made little rubbery toys resembling the Jack Daniels bottles, and Jack Daniels sued. So this sets a firm boundary between free speech protections and commercial use. So if you're using a trademark to sell something, even humorously, you're subjected to these trademark laws. And it reaffirms trademark protections against imitative commercial use. The decision strengthens protection for a famous brand and trade dress against lookalike or spoof products that might confuse consumer or tarnish brand image. And this is especially in alcoholic beverages, luxury brands, and fashion because those are things that are very distinguishable. So, continuing with this, the rejection of overbroad use of the Rogers test is something significant that happened in this case. So, a lot of times, when there were infringement cases, Rogers v. Grimaldi was a case that was heavily relied on with the Grimaldi test. And in this one, the application of the Rogers test is limited, and this reaffirms that original trademark infringement analysis applies a mark that is used commercially, even if the product contains expressive elements. And then the impact on product development and marketing is that businesses develop novelty items or parodies that are inspired by other items, but after this case, they face greater legal risk. So some legal definitions is trademark, a name, word, symbol, or identifier to distinguish the goods from one another, and this is under the Lanham Act. And then trademark infringement, which is the unauthorized use of a mark that is likely to cause confusion about the source of a product or service, also under the Lanham Act. And then trademark delusion is use of a famous mark in a way that harms its reputation, even without consumer confusion, under the Lanham Act as well. And then parody is a humorous or satirical limitation that may sometimes constitute a fair use under defense of a trademark law. And expressive work is a product that conveys ideas or artistic expression, potentially protected under the First Amendment. So, the case information. The parties, the plaintiff was Jack Daniels Property Inc., and the defendant was VIP Products LLC. So, the complaint is Jack Daniels sued VIP for trademark infringement and dilution, claiming VIP's dog toy Bad Spaniels, which mimic Jack Daniels' iconic bottle and branding, potentially confusing consumers and damaging its brand. So the factual background of the case, Jack Daniel Product Inc. is well known with its associated Tennessee whiskey, and this includes the distinctive shape of the bottle with the black and white label and the phrases like Old Number Seven. And then what VIP Products LLC did is that they're a dog company that makes dog toys, and they sell silly squeakers, which are squeaky toys that mimic brands. So one of these was the Bat Spaniels, which mimicked the Jack Daniels bottle. And then it said Old Number Two on the Tennessee carpet instead of Old Number Seven brand Tennessee whiskey. So continuing with these facts, VIP claimed that the product was an expressive parody meant to comment on alcohol branding in general and not to confuse consumers or damage the Jack Daniels brand. In response, Jack Daniels sued VIP in federal court for trademark infringement under the Lanham Act and then also trademark delusion by tarnishment. So these are the specific facts of the case. The toy was made to intentionally mimic the bottle in shape, font, color scheme, and size. VIP marketed the product on its websites and in stores, often next to the alcohol-themed novelty products with the similarities. And the bottom of the toy included a disclaimer that it was not associated with Jack Daniels, but this was not prominently displayed. VIP registered the Bad Spaniels name as a trademark, meaning they were attempting to use the parody not just for commentary, but as a source identifier for their own products. VIP claimed First Amendment protection with the toy as it was expressive work and invoked the Grimaldi test, which offers leeway to creative works when evaluating trademark use. The district court ruled in favor of Jack Daniels, holding that the toy infringed on Jack Daniels' trademarks and diluted its brand through tarnishment. The Ninth Circuit reversed, holding that because the toy was expressive and parodic, it was protective under the Rogers test and non-commercial use exception for dilution under the Lanham Act. So the legal analysis now. The key legal issues. Does the Rogers test apply when a product uses another trademarks as a source identifier? And does VIP's use of the mark quality as non-commercial for the purposes of Lanham Act dilution provision? So Rogers test does not apply when the trademark is used as a trademark. So Rogers v. Grimaldi tests expressive works like movies, books, and art. And this uses another's trademark only for expressive purposes, not as identifying as the brand. So the court held that VIP used the Jack Daniels trade dress and trademarks to identify its own product, which was the Bad Spaniels dog toy. And because it was the source identifier, the court stated that Rogers test does not apply, and the case must be assessed under traditional likelihood of confusion standards. And two, does VIP's use of the mark qualify as non-commercial for the purposes of the Lanham Act dilution provision? VIP argues that their use of Jack Daniels marks was non-commercial parody and thus not subject under dilution claim. The court rejected this, noting that this product was sold for profit and used the Jack Daniels trade dress as part of the branding. Because of the use of the product was commercial in nature, VIP could not say it was not commercial use. So the outcome of the case is that the Supreme Court vacated the judgment of the Ninth Circuit and remanded the case. The court directed that VIP's use of the Bad Spaniels be evaluated under original trademark infringement and dilution standards without applying Rogers. And this decision narrows the scope of First Amendment defenses in trademark law when the disputed use serves as a brand name or product identifier. So I think the two basic key learnings from this case is that trademark use as a source identifier removes the First Amendment protection. So because it was used as commercial and used to identify the source, it was a copy of Jack Daniels' brand, and therefore the First Amendment does not protect that. And the last one is that the Rogers test has its limits, and the court clarified that the Rogers v. Grimaldi test, which offers heightened protection for expressive uses, does not apply when infringing on a trademark itself, only on expressive works like films, books, and art, but not commercial goods. So these are my references, and I want to thank you guys for tuning in.